What's going on, guys? This is Logan here at Vaporleaf, and I am here today with the Atopack Penguin from Joyetech. This is a remarkably unique device that I'd rather just show you than tell you about. So let's just go straight into it and dive down and take a closer look at it.
Alright, here we are up close with the Atopack Penguin from Joyetech. If we go ahead and pull the box open here, we of course get the penguin itself in the iconic penguin colors, black and white. Then if we pull the foam out, and then the trap door here, we of course get a micro USB cable for charging, a couple of very interesting looking coils, some little silicone seals, I can show you guys what those are for later, and then some user manuals and that sort of nonsense. Now as for the device itself, of course, very interesting looking thing, very swoopy, very ergonomic look. Nice build quality too. On the front here, or if you want to call it the front, we've got the fire button, the micro USB cable, a little airflow hole, and our mouthpiece, as well as some venting on the bottom side here, and this little bump here. This little indentation. And that's a clue as to what's so special about this device. So if we push up on that a little bit, we can pop the cartridge out. That's right, so this is actually going to be a refillable cartridge with replaceable coils. Of course, you saw those coils earlier. If you've ever used like a Juul or any kind of cartridge device, you're familiar with the cartridge style where you just buy a whole new cartridge, it's already filled with juice and it's got a coil in it, and you just slot that guy in there and use it. Now this one you can put your own juice into and put your own coils into. So on the front here you can see it goes all the way up to 8.8 milliliters. An absolutely massive tank in there, especially for the size of this device. The other cool thing is you've got liquid info. You can actually write down the brand, flavor, nicotine level, and PG-VG ratio of whatever juice you have in there, so you can have multiple ones of these things and just toss them in and out as you go. It's also quite helpful as well, they list the cartridge material on here. I don't know if that's for legal purposes, but either way, it's nice to know that it's made of PETG and silicon, whatever PETG is. I'm familiar with silicon, but it seems to be a pretty good material so far. We haven't had many problems with it, although I will say, with a higher powered coil, we did get a little bit of melting over on this side. That started caving in a little bit, but that was probably user error. It was my brother using it after all. Now if you look on the bottom side here, you see a little plug that looks remarkably like the bottom of these coils, and in fact, that fits the bottom of these coils. If we just pull that little guy out of there, there's a little indentation, if you can see that right up there to get your nail in, and you can just slide that right out. You can keep it, toss it, whatever you want to do with it. I imagine it could be pretty handy in the future if you ever want to store these things empty or even with some juice in them, either way. And then down inside of here, we've got a little bit of anatomy going on. So of course our mouthpiece is up here, our airflow is going to be going through that far hole there. We've got our juice fill hole right there, which is of course where the coil gets its juice from as well. That might be a little bit hard to see, but that's your wick up top there on the coil. And then we've got air coming in there. So we've got our airflow hole right up here. It goes down here, out of that airflow hole, through the coil, and then up through the mouthpiece. So all in all, a really clever and straightforward design. If you look on the bottom of the coil here, we've got a couple contact points, as well as a little bit of information about it, of course. This guy says Atopack JVIC1. It's a 0.6 ohm MTL, mouth-to-lung coil. So you can see just the diameter of this coil. It's definitely on the smaller side, especially in comparison to the 0.25 ohm coil. That's right, so you can either have a mouth-to-lung coil that's going to be a lot like a Joyetech all-in-one if you've ever used one of those guys, more similar to a cigarette, where these 0.25s are going to be pretty beastly. They put out a lot of vapor and a lot of heat, and really good flavor too. And you can see the 0.25 there says DL, direct lung. Now I've actually got my brother's Penguin here, so if we pop the cartridge out, we can see our coil in the bottom of there. Again, we can use that little slot for our nail to pop that guy open. You can see our coil, all covered in juice. So when you want to fill this thing, you basically just pop your coil out, fill through that oval hole there, watch on the window as your juice goes up, and then replace your coil. And of course replacing your coil is very straightforward as well. You just pop your coil out, saturate it with some juice, and just pop it right in. It's very simple stuff. Your hands do get a little bit juicy. Of course installing the cartridge is super easy as well. You just get it in the right orientation, Make sure you're not an idiot like me. There we go. And just boop. Done. That's it. That's all you need to do. Super simple, right? Now this guy is on, so you can see we've got these 5 dots here. That means it's fully charged. And if you look down inside of this device here, you can see a couple of those pins there. I can only assume that one of those is positive and one is negative. And then this guy right over here, which I believe is just to hold the tank in place, which it does a good job of as well. Of course, it's going to be very standard on operation. It's going to be 5 clicks off, the lights will flash a few times, and then the device will turn off. And then it's going to be 5 clicks on. Again, it flashes a few times and then you can use it. And I almost forgot, these little silicone seals. So, you might be able to figure out at this point, this silicone seal will go on the bottom of here if you just want to store your tank or keep it in your pocket or something, you don't want to get juice everywhere. And then this guy isn't actually a seal. Of course, you can see you have a little hole in there. It's just a little cover for your mouthpiece. Just, you know, keeps it clean, keeps it from being scratched, it's a little softer on your teeth, whatever you want it for. It's a pretty nice little inclusion there.
Alright guys, so currently we are running the 0.25 ohm coil in here at 250 watt, no I'm just kidding, it's just 3.7 volts. But, 2.5 ohm coil, let's go ahead and see how it does. Woo! Again, surprisingly well. Knowing this device, like, you know, it's non-adjustable, you've got a choice of 2 different coils, it runs a cartridge, you wouldn't expect very much out of it, but that 0.25 puts out. I mean, you get the flavor, the heat, the vapor production, everything. It's a really impressive coil. That being said, I have tried the 0.6 ohm coil as well, and again, if you've ever tried a Joyetech all-in-one, these guys right here, really, really similar. Good vapor production, nice mouth to lung draw, nothing too crazy, a little bit more on the modest side, less juice consumption as well. Now you may have noticed, I blew through it a little bit when I was going to vape on it, and given the location of the air hole, I got an eye full of nicotine there. So don't do that. maybe hold it like this instead. Man. That is such a nice vape off of that. Even though the airflow is fixed, you might think like, well, what if I want to adjust it? No, it's perfect where it is. Like, it's resistive. You do have to kind of work to get airflow moving through there, but it feels so right. Again, just the right amount of heat. It's really smooth, really good vapor density. I'm actually really, really impressed with this thing. I suppose one thing that I didn't mention earlier is those 5 little dots on the front there, that's your battery gauge. So as your battery goes down, you may figure 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then you charge. As you're charging, same thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it'll turn off, and then it's fully charged. It's really straightforward, really simple. Filling it, vaping on it, replacing the coil, everything is just so easy to do. And it's a reasonable size, too. I mean, it's about the size of a fat wallet, you know? Like, it'll fit in your back pocket nicely, and it's not like the tank is gonna get broken or anything like that because you're sitting on it. So that's a nice design. So, for the sort of all-in-one style box mod, it is on the larger side, yeah. But it's comfortable, it's still reasonably sized, and the performance is so worth it. Like, I can't even compare this to another device that we've had, except for the 0.6, of course. But with the 0.25, there's not really anything else like it. This device definitely gets top marks for simplicity, build quality, looks, performance. Did I already say performance? Well, it does get top quality for performance. Man, that is just a really well-rounded, overall, great-performing device. So let me know if you guys have any other questions about it. Go ahead and leave a comment if you want to talk to me, or let me know if you have any questions about anything, really, even just this device, or whatever kind of problems you might be having, anything like that. And be sure to leave a like if you liked the video, and go ahead and subscribe for all the latest and greatest videos from Vaporleaf. We'll see you next time. Bye.